Okay, it's about time I just admit it. I have complicated views on the World Cup of Hockey. I realized this in Ottawa this week when I made the trek out there to watch Team Canada practice. And even though you can't see their numbers, you can tell who every player is. Because the greatest stars in the league are that recognizable. Thornton and Burns have the giant beards, that's easy to pick out. But Crosby, what is it about his shape on the ice that just has these edges? You know what Jonathan Toews looks like. You can tell who Steven Stamkos is. This is an all-star team. Their top line is Sidney Crosby in the middle with Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand on his wings. You know how arrogant that is? We have the best player in the world and he just happens to be a center. We also have the best two-way center in the world who also happens to be a center. What should we do? Let's just put them on the same line. We're Canada. Oh my God, you're right. Who should the other winger be? Who cares? We're Canada. Who's Crosby been working out with this summer? Brad Marchand. Boom, that's his winger. And that's just the top line. The other lines underneath them have Toews, Stamkos, Tavares, Giroux, you name it. And I was just looking up and down the rosters of the other teams, and I was just looking at Canada, and I went, man, Canada is absolutely like the first, second, and third team to beat at the World Cup of Hockey. And that's when I realized I don't think I can cheer for Team Canada. Which sounds so messed up and dirty, and I can't believe it came out of my mouth. But I'm gonna have a hard time finding a reason to cheer for Team Canada. Look at them and then look at the other teams of this tournament. Canada is the team to beat. They are the Death Star, Goliath. And nobody wants to cheer for Goliath. 2010 was a bit of an outlier, okay? Canada is on home ice for the Olympics, and it's in overtime, and they win, and they get the most gold medals in history, and it was a huge fairy tale moment, and I think most of the world was cheering for Canada because it was such a great story. With the exception of that, when it comes to hockey, Canada is not some heartwarming story. They're the team that's supposed to win. And as Canadians, we're not used to that. We're only used to that when it comes to hockey. Everything else, oh, we're Canada. Gosh, gee, Willikers just so cute, this little country, not really bothering anybody. It's not like at the Olympics where if you're a country who's not the States, China, or Great Britain, it's a great story if you win. The Olympics, especially the Summer Olympics, should just be called, let's see who else wins. But when it comes to hockey, Canada is Michael Phelps. I just look at a team like the Czech Republic, for example, okay? They were going to have a hard time in this tournament no matter what. But then they get some injuries, and they're replacing these players with players that I and most of the hockey world have never heard of. Czech Republic has Milan Michalek on the team. He might not even make the Leafs. Team Canada gets an injury and they replace Jeff Carter with Corey Perry, who you could easily make an argument is better anyway. Oh, you lost Jamie Benn? Boo-hoo. Here's Logan Couture. And I tell you what, this is why I think I'm cheering for Team North America. Because so many people, myself included at times admittedly, have referred to that team as a joke. Not just a joke, but a bunch of kids, a gimmick. And people have been talking about, oh, Connor McDavid would have been on Team Canada, and oh, Jack Eichel would have been on Team USA. Beyond those two, not too many guys on those teams who would have made Canada or the US. So wouldn't it be incredible then if North America, this team of under 23-year-olds, this team of kids, this gimmick, this joke, beat Goliath. McDavid versus Goliath. It's too perfect, guys. What would Team Canada's cap hit be? Like 150 million? And they lost to a bunch of kids who are still on their entry-level contract? Are you kidding me? And it's a hard thing to think of for us. Canada, not just as the favorite, the Death Star, the Goliath. Canada as the villain. And if you disagree that it should be North America that you're cheering for, instead you're cheering for Team Europe, whatever, man. It doesn't change that Canada might be the bad guy. This is the plot to like every late 80s, early to mid 90s movie or cartoon. The big bad powerhouse runs into the kids and they just brush them off as some kids. And in the end, who's the hero? You've seen Stranger Things. So, what do you think? Are you cheering for Team Canada no matter what? Or are you kind of intrigued by McDavid versus Goliath? So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. And I know it might feel dirty to cheer against Team Canada, but I think most of you know I got a point.